Welcome, dear listener. Tonight, we drift into a hush of long-ago New England, a land of frozen harbors and moonlit pines, where every flake of snow carries a secret, and every lantern glow feels like a promise. You will hear the soft crunch of winter streets, the distant hum of the Atlantic, and the gentle music of a 19th century night, as if you were walking there yourself. If you truly love to fall asleep to quiet stories of history and wonder, please remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a journey like this. And I would love to know where you are listening from. Share the name of your city or country in the comments so our little community can travel the world together while we dream. Now, let us settle deeper into the snowy calm, where the first breath of winter greets the still Atlantic coast, and the evening unfolds like a slow, peaceful lullaby. The night begins like a quiet breath drawn across the Atlantic coast, a soft and endless hush that settles over every dune, marsh, and pine-covered ridge. A pale winter moon hangs low above the horizon, silver light spilling across the frozen inlets where salt water lies beneath a delicate crust of ice. Far offshore, the ocean moves with an ancient patience, waves rolling beneath the frozen skin of the bay, their deep heartbeat rising through the ground like the slow pulse of the world itself. Follow the narrow road that winds inland, and you will find the village of Maple Hollow, resting beneath a quilt of new snow. Each house crouches close to the earth as though leaning into the warmth of its own hearth. Clapboard walls gleam with frost, windows glow with the amber of kerosene lamps, and narrow chimneys send up ribbons of smoke that catch the moonlight before disappearing into the star-filled dark. From the blacksmith's closed shop drifts the faint scent of iron and coal, a memory of labor that lingers even as the forge lies cold. Across the square, a church steeple pierces the night sky, its bell silent until morning, but still carrying the dignity of centuries of ringing prayers. Step inside the largest of these homes, if only in your imagination. A heavy wooden door swings inward, and the warmth of a cast-iron stove greets you like an embrace. The stove hums with a low metallic music, steady and faithful against the sharp and chill outside. On a pine table near the hearth rests a tray of molasses cookies cooling in the faint golden light. Their sweetness blends with the smoky perfume of burning logs and the salty hint of the nearby bay, creating a scent that belongs only to this coast. This night, this quiet hour of winter, children already sleep beneath patchwork quilts stitched by hands long gone. Their slow breathing joins the hush of the house until it seems the very walls are dreaming. Outside, snow continues to fall in tiny sparks of silver. Lanterns hung from wooden posts shine halos into the dark, and each flake drifts through those circles of light like a star wandering down from the sky. Bootprints left by the evening postman blur and soften as the wind smooths their edges. You walk carefully along the lane and hear the gentle crunch beneath your boots, a sound that becomes a heartbeat of its own, hypnotic and sure. The village sleeps, yet every shuttered window glows faintly, a reminder that within these homes, hearts still beat, fires still whisper, lives still unfold in slow winter rhythm. Beyond the square, a narrow trail leads toward the ridge, where tall pines bow under the weight of the storm. The branches sway in a subtle dance, releasing an occasional drift of powder that floats downward like smoke. Follow this trail, and the world grows deeper, softer, as if the forest itself wishes to protect the silence. A sudden chime carries through the trees, a single sleigh bell, distant yet clear, a bright thread of sound in the thick night. Perhaps a farmer guides his horse home after a late visit, or perhaps it is only memory, an echo of another winter long ago. Whatever its source, the bell draws you onward. The air grows colder as you climb. Frost sparkles on every twig and stone, each tiny crystal catching the moonlight and scattering it in secret patterns. Above you, the constellations shine like powdered diamond on black velvet, ancient guides watching over this solitary walk. Your breath turns to mist and joins the soft clouds that drift across the starlit sky. Even the ocean's distant murmur fades, until you hear only the slow rhythm of your own steps and the faint, beckoning ring of the unseen bell. At last the trees thin, and the trail opens onto a ridge where the frozen bay spreads wide and gleaming below. The bell's music lingers on the wind, neither near nor far, neither past nor present. You pause, surrounded by the silent cathedral of winter, and feel the invitation in the air to follow the sound deeper into the woods, to discover what waits beyond the next bend, to continue the journey into the heart of the New England night. The bell drifts through the cold night like a silver thread, each chime soft but certain, a gentle call that seems to come from everywhere at once. You step from the ridge and follow the narrow trail as it descends into the deep pine woods, your breath a quiet cloud in the pale moonlight. Snow thickens beneath your boots, crunching with a music so steady it blends with the faint rhythm of the unseen bell. Above, the sky remains an ocean of stars, constellations burning cold and bright, their light filtering through branches heavy with frost. The forest feels alive, though nothing moves. Pine trunks stand like tall black pillars, their needles holding layers of snow that gleam whenever moonbeams break through. Each gust of wind releases a soft shower of crystals, a slow glittering fall that catches the lantern light of distant villages below. The scent of resin mixes with the faint salt of the bay, a perfume of earth and sea that belongs only to this winter coast. You pause to listen. The bell's note lingers, then fades, then returns, guiding you further. It is not urgent, it is patient, a sound meant to be followed at a dreamer's pace. Your footsteps become slower, softer, until you feel you are gliding rather than walking, carried forward by the hush of the woods themselves. Somewhere behind you the village lies sleeping, yet here the world is wide and timeless, untouched by hour or calendar. A small clearing opens ahead, a circle of moonlight on fresh snow. In its center stands a single birch tree, its pale trunk luminous against the dark pines. From a low branch hangs an old brass lantern, its glass frosted but still faintly glowing, as if the moon has placed its own heart inside. The bell rings again, clearer now, and you see no horse, no sleigh, no traveler, only the lantern swaying gently, though no wind stirs. Its light pools on the ground, inviting you to step inside the circle. When you cross the clearing, the air feels warmer, though the snow remains crisp beneath your feet. A sense of welcome surrounds you, like the memory of a hearth long forgotten, but instantly known. Stories seem to whisper from the shadows, voices of those who once walked this same path in centuries past. Fishermen returning from icy waters, woodcutters carrying pine, children chasing falling stars. Their echoes weave through the night until you cannot tell whether they are history or imagination. Yet every word soothes like a lullaby. Beyond the birch, the trail narrows again, bending toward a frozen stream that winds through the woods like a silver ribbon. The bell leads you along its edge, the chime now joined by the faint trickle of water still moving beneath the ice. Here the moonlight breaks into shards across the surface, tiny mirrors reflecting 1,000 tiny worlds. You kneel to touch the glassy sheet and feel a cool vibration, as if the current below carries messages from the ocean to the heart of the forest. Farther on, the stream widens into a small pond ringed with reeds turned white with frost. The bell fades, replaced by the soft music of wind moving through dry cattails. An owl calls from a hidden perch, its low note rolling like distant thunder. The sound blends with the whisper of falling snow until all separate noises merge into a single gentle harmony. You breathe it in, a melody older than language, a song that belongs to night and winter alone. A wooden footbridge appears, its railings coated in thick ice that glitters like crystal. As you cross, the boards creak under your weight, each groan echoing into the silent forest. Halfway across, you pause, drawn again by a flicker of golden light ahead. Through the pines, you glimpse another lantern, this one brighter, its glow steady and strong, resting beside what looks like the door of a small cabin hidden among the trees. The bell chimes once more, soft but welcoming, and then the forest falls still. Only the lantern waits, its beams spilling across the snow like a path laid just for you. You step off the bridge and feel the hush deepen. A hush so complete it seems the world holds its breath. Somewhere behind that door, warmth beckons, stories linger, and the next chapter of this winter journey begins. The forest stands hushed as you leave the bridge, the creak of its timbers fading behind you like the closing notes of a lullaby. Ahead, the lantern beside the small cabin glows with a steady golden heart, a promise of warmth hidden within the endless pines. Snow swirls in slow spirals, each flake catching the lantern's beam before settling soundlessly to the ground. Your boots press into the fresh powder, leaving prints that sparkle faintly and then soften as the next drift begins. The cabin is built of weathered cedar logs darkened by many winters. Its roof wears a thick cap of snow, and icicles hang from the eaves like rows of crystal chimes. When a faint breeze passes, the icicles ring with a music finer than any bell, a quiet, glassy note that blends with the deep silence of the woods. The door stands slightly ajar, a thin ribbon of light spilling across the threshold and painting the snow in amber. You pause, listening for voices, for movement, for any sign that another traveler waits within, yet only the soft sigh of the forest answers. Stepping closer, you notice carvings etched into the frame, simple patterns of waves, pine needles and stars, worn smooth by time. The marks feel both ancient and familiar, as if they were placed here to guide dreamers rather than to decorate wood. Your hand meets the cold iron latch. It yields easily, and the door opens without a sound. Warmth greets you like a gentle tide. Inside, the air carries the fragrance of burning spruce and dried herbs. A single room unfolds before you, walls lined with shelves of weathered books, their spines faded to soft browns and greens. Bundles of lavender hang from the beams, releasing a sleepy sweetness. A small stove radiates steady heat, and beside it a rocking chair moves almost imperceptibly, swaying though no one sits there. On a low table rests a brass teapot, steam curling upward in a slow, fragrant dance. You remove your gloves and feel the warmth seep through your fingers. The floorboards, though old, are polished to a quiet glow by countless footsteps. Above the mantel hangs a painting of the very ridge you crossed, moonlight on the frozen bay, a sky crowded with stars. Yet the brushstrokes shimmer as if the scene still lives within the canvas. It is not unsettling. It is a reminder that the world outside continues to breathe even as you rest. From somewhere deep in the cabin comes the faint hum of music. No instrument, no voice, only a low harmonious vibration, like the echo of distant seashells. It wraps around you, smoothing the edges of thought, drawing you toward the rocking chair. You sit, and the chair welcomes your weight with a slow creak that becomes part of the music. The stove flickers, casting waves of golden light across the books and beams, turning the room into a living lantern of its own. You close your eyes for a moment and feel memories not your own drift across your mind. Fishermen steering through icy tides, children laughing as they chase winter fireflies, travelers pausing on lonely roads. All pass by like gentle clouds. Their stories carry no urgency. They are simple fragments of long lives, shared only to remind you that every night holds 1,000 quiet histories. When you open your eyes, you notice the far wall now glows faintly with moonlight, though no window marks its surface. The glow shapes itself into a door of pale silver. A new bell tone, soft, melodic, sounds once, inviting you onward. It is not a summons, but a suggestion, an unspoken promise that the journey continues. You rise, feeling the warmth of the room linger like a shawl around your shoulders. The rocking chair continues to sway gently after you step away, as if to reassure you that comfort remains for anyone who enters next. With a final glance at the stove's steady flame, you cross the floor toward the silver-lit wall. The air near it is cool and carries the scent of distant ocean spray, as though the bay itself waits beyond. When you place your hand against the shimmering outline, the surface yields like soft mist. The bell rings again, clearer, closer, blending with the deep hush of the forest outside. You take a single breath, then step through the light. Beyond lies a quiet you have never known. A sky of endless midnight blue, a path of frost-kissed grass gleaming under unfamiliar stars, and far away, the echo of waves meeting stone. Somewhere within that tranquil vastness, another lantern glimmers, guiding you toward the next chapter of this gentle winter voyage. You pass fully through the silver light and step onto a field that feels at once new and remembered. The air is softer here, neither bitter with frost nor heavy with salt, but touched by both as though the forest and the sea have agreed to meet in quiet truce. Frost-kissed grass bends under your boots with a muted crackle, releasing a faint, sweet scent of hidden herbs that have slept beneath winter snow. Above, the sky is an ocean of deep midnight blue, stars scattered like lantern sparks across its endless expanse. A hush lies over everything, yet it is not the empty hush of absence. It is the hush of presence, of life holding its breath in reverence. Behind you, the silver doorway has faded into the night, leaving only a faint shimmer that drifts upward and dissolves among the constellations. Ahead, a gentle slope leads downward where the land meets the sea. You begin to walk, each step measured and slow, your heartbeat aligning with the distant rhythm of waves. The path winds through low dunes and clusters of juniper. Moonlight brushes the sand with a pale glow, turning every grain into a tiny shard of glass. Now and again, a breeze stirs the branches and carries the mingled fragrance of pine, salt, and cold stone. Somewhere in that breeze hides the faintest music, a single bell note, soft as a sigh, rising and falling like breath. It guides you forward as surely as it did through the forest, yet now the sound feels older, vaster, like the memory of tides themselves. Soon the dunes open onto a broad stretch of beach, silvered by moonlight. The Atlantic lies before you, vast and calm, a sheet of dark steel rippling under the stars. Waves roll in with patient grace, their foam luminous where it kisses the sand. The sound is steady, a low hymn that begins beyond the horizon and never truly ends. You pause, letting the ocean's music fill your ears until it merges with the slow beat of your heart. Far to the right, half hidden behind a curve of rocks, a lighthouse stands sentinel. Its tower rises pale and slender, crowned by a glass lantern that turns slowly, casting a beam across the water like a sweeping arm of light. With each rotation, the beam spills over the shore, washing the sand, the rocks, and your own figure in a brief, gentle brilliance before gliding on. The lighthouse does not warn tonight of danger. It seems instead to welcome, to promise safe passage to any who wander beneath the stars. You walk toward it along the tide line, where wet sand glistens like polished stone. Tiny shells crunch softly beneath your boots, and pools left by the receding tide reflect constellations so perfectly that for a moment it feels you are walking through the heavens themselves. A heron lifts from the shadow of a dune, its wings catching the moonlight as it glides soundlessly across the bay, a living piece of night sky. Closer now, you notice a narrow stairway carved into the rock that leads to the lighthouse door. A lantern hangs at the base, its flame steady despite the breeze. The bell tone comes again, clearer, nearer, mingling with the deep, endless sigh of the sea. You rest your hand on the weathered railing, the wood cool and smooth beneath your glove, and begin to climb. Each step carries you higher above the rolling water. Behind you, the beach stretches silver and silent. Ahead, the tower rises like a pillar of moonlight. As you reach the top, the great door swings inward with a sound like the slow turning of tides. Warm light spills across the landing, carrying the scent of oil and old wood, of salt and gentle heat. Inside, a spiral staircase curves upward, its iron rails gleaming faintly in the lantern glow. You climb in an easy rhythm, the echo of your footsteps blending with the ocean's murmur far below. Halfway up, you pass a window cut into the stone. Through it, the night spreads boundless, and for a breath you feel as though you stand inside the very heart of the sky. At last, you reach the lantern room, Glass panels encircle you, each one catching moonlight and sending it back in 1,000 soft reflections. The great lens turns with patient grace, its light sweeping across the dark sea in endless arcs. You step close and feel a gentle warmth radiating from the lamp, a pulse of energy older than memory. Outside, the ocean glitters like a field of stars come to rest upon water. A small wooden bench waits beside the window. You sit, and the world seems to pause. The rotating beam passes over you, and for a moment you are part of its eternal pattern. Light, dark, light again, like the breathing of the night itself. Somewhere below, the single bell chimes once more, no longer a summons, but a blessing. You close your eyes and let the rhythm of sea and light, of bell and wind, carry you deeper into the calm. The lighthouse hums softly, a sound that mingles with the infinite sigh of waves. And as you drift in that harmony, you sense another path waiting, a gentle descent from this high watchtower back toward the quiet mysteries that lie beyond the next horizon. The hush of night deepens as the path bends left and dips toward a hollow where the snow lies smoother than a frozen pond. Each step you take feels measured by the slow pulse of the earth beneath, as though the land itself breathes in time with your own quiet rhythm. The bell's faint toll lingers somewhere ahead, no louder than a memory, yet steady enough to guide you onward. You pass beneath an arch of bent birches, whose limbs gleam like pale glass. Their trunks catch the moonlight, silver upon silver, and for a moment the world seems carved entirely from frost and dream. A breeze carries the scent of pine resin, sharp and sweet, mingling with the clean taste of snow on the air. Somewhere a fox pads across the drifts, its shadow a swift whisper that vanishes before your eyes can settle upon it. The forest begins to thin. Beyond the birches rises a low stone wall, half buried beneath white mounds, its granite blocks crusted with lichen older than the village itself. You pause, tracing a gloved hand across the cold surface. The stones hum faintly beneath your touch, or perhaps that is only the echo of wind, but it feels like a heartbeat from long ago, a gentle throb beneath the frozen skin of the earth. A narrow gate stands open in the wall, iron hinges stiff with age. You step through and find yourself in a clearing ringed by towering pines. Here the moonlight gathers like a blessing, spilling across the ground until every flake of snow glitters, as if sprinkled with powdered pearl. At the center rises a single wooden post, taller than a man, its surface carved with symbols half erased by centuries of weather. The bell hangs from a crooked arm at the post's top, swaying slightly, though no breeze touches it. Its note drifts toward you, soft but endless. You draw nearer, heart quiet, breath slow. The carvings along the post reveal themselves as curling vines, stars, and small animals, fox, deer, owl, worn smooth but still alive beneath the moon. You rest your hand upon the wood, and the world hushes further still, as if the forest holds its breath to listen. From the shadows beyond the clearing comes a new sound, a low and resonant hum that merges with the bell's gentle ring. It carries the warmth of voices, though no figure stands among the trees. The tone deepens, layers of harmony folding one over the other, like waves upon the shore. A memory stirs, stories told by the old folk of Maple Hollow, of winter nights when ancestors gathered to honor the longest dark, when song and silence braided together to keep the village safe until spring. Snowflakes begin to fall once more, larger now, their descent slow and deliberate. They catch in your hair, melt against your lashes, sparkle on the bell's dark metal. The post seems to breathe, a faint warmth rising beneath your palm. In that moment, you sense not fear, but belonging, as though you have stepped inside a circle drawn long before your birth, a place where time folds back upon itself. The hum swells, then ebbs, leaving only the soft ring of the bell and the rhythmic whisper of falling snow. You close your eyes and let the sound guide you inward, each breath a tether between the present and a past that still lingers in the marrow of the land. When you open them again, a faint trail of light threads away from the clearing, weaving through the pines toward the distant bay. It is a path of moonlit shimmer, subtle yet sure, as if the earth itself has decided to show you the next step. The bell's final note fades into the stillness, but the light remains, beckoning like a gentle hand. You tighten your scarf, lift your lantern, and begin to follow where it leads, toward the quiet roar of the ocean and the deepening secrets that wait beyond the frozen ridge, where the night continues its endless story and the winter whispers never truly end. The trail winds gently downward, snow crunching underfoot in a rhythm that matches the soft pulse of the night. Moonlight spills across the frost-kissed ground, painting long shadows of pine and birch. Each tree seems taller, more ancient here, their trunks carved by time and wind, their branches heavy with snow that drifts like slow silver curtains. A faint fragrance rises from the forest floor, a mixture of pine, damp earth, and the faint whisper of the ocean carried on a distant breeze. Ahead, the bay comes into view, its frozen surface gleaming pale under the moon. Thin sheets of ice catch the light and reflect it in 1,000 scattered diamonds, each one trembling faintly as though alive. The soft lapping of water beneath the ice is almost imperceptible, a gentle hymn mingling with the distant bell notes that guided you here. Footsteps on the snow feel sacred, a quiet communion with the land itself. A small outcropping of rocks rises at the shoreline, coated with frost and icicles. Between them, a narrow inlet channels the tide, the water dark and slow-moving beneath a fragile ice crust. You pause to listen. The ocean sighs in waves that reach far beyond the eye, echoing against stone and sky, carrying a sound both ancient and endlessly present. Along the edge of the bay, a line of driftwood forms a natural fence, snow resting lightly upon each piece. Here and there, tiny footprints mark the passage of night creatures: fox, rabbit, owl. But nothing stirs now, only the hush of winter. A faint glow appears ahead, low on the sand. A lantern balanced on a wooden post, its amber light flickering gently in rhythm with the moonlit waves. It casts a circle of warmth across the icy shore, drawing you closer with a quiet insistence. The air here is colder, yet the lantern's glow wraps around you like a blanket, inviting a slow, measured step forward. You notice a small wooden boat tied loosely to a post near the water's edge, its hull dusted with snow. The rope creaks faintly as the tide shifts beneath it. Even in stillness, the bay seems alive, breathing, whispering, singing its song to the night. You continue along the sand, guided by the soft light and the rhythmic murmur of tide beneath ice. The sound of distant water joins the memory of the bell, weaving into a lullaby older than any story told. Shadows of rocks and driftwood stretch long, changing shape as you move. Occasionally, the wind carries a hint of salt and pine together, a mingling of forest and sea that seems to hold the entire winter night in one delicate scent. A narrow jetty of rocks leads farther into the bay, each step across the frost-coated stones deliberate, cautious. Beneath, the ice shifts subtly, the ocean breathing under its frozen layer. You stop to place a hand on a boulder. It is cold but steady, grounding, a reminder of Earth beneath the endless sky. Above, the moon traces its silver arc, bathing the inlet in a soft, unbroken glow. The lantern swings slightly, and its light touches each icy ripple of the bay, revealing the water's hidden shimmer beneath the surface. Far along the shoreline, the faint outline of a small cabin rises, tucked between rocky ridges and pine shadows. Its chimney sends a thin wisp of smoke into the night sky, a signal of warmth and life within the stillness. A subtle path leads toward it, marked by shallow impressions in the snow that suggest another has walked here before. You feel the hush of the night deepen, carrying with it a sense of welcome, as if the bay itself waits to share its secret stories. The waves sigh, the wind whispers, the bell's echo fades into memory, yet the lantern's glow remains a steadfast guide. With each careful step, the cabin draws nearer, a promise of rest, warmth, and quiet discovery. You lift your gaze to the moon, the stars, the sweeping sky above the frozen bay, and inhale the slow, endless calm that only a winter night can hold. At last, your feet touch the soft slope leading to the cabin's door. The amber light spills across the snow in a gentle embrace. You step forward, knowing that inside, stories wait, warmth waits, and the night has more secrets to share with those who follow its quiet path. The cabin door swings open with a soft creak, welcoming you into warmth that contrasts sharply with the crisp, moonlit bay outside. The scent of pine, drying herbs, and burning spruce greets you instantly, mingling into a calm fragrance that settles in your chest and soothes every breath. Snowflakes that clung to your coat melt silently on the wooden floor, tiny hissing whispers marking your arrival. The glow from a lantern hanging near the hearth spills across the room, highlighting shelves lined with weathered books, smooth stones, and small glass jars filled with dried petals and seeds. A low fire hums in the hearth, flickering with a warm amber pulse that lights the space without haste. You step closer, feeling the warmth brush against your cheeks and hands, carrying a sense of home, even though you have never been here before. On a small table, a tin teapot sits next to a pair of ceramic cups, steam curling upward like pale threads of mist in the lantern light. You reach for one, the warmth seeping into your palms as if to remind you that the night, though vast and infinite outside, contains its own quiet sanctuaries. The cabin walls are lined with simple carvings, waves, pines, stars, foxes and owls, patterns repeated from the forest posts and stone markers you passed earlier. Each symbol seems to hum with life, a gentle resonance that echoes the night beyond. You run a finger over one of the carvings, tracing the smooth groove, and feel the pulse of countless winters folded into this space, each one leaving a memory, a whisper, a lullaby. The rocking chair near the hearth sways faintly, moving on its own as if acknowledging your presence. You sit and allow it to carry your weight, the slow motion syncing with the rhythm of the crackling fire and the distant waves beyond the cabin walls. Through the frost-glazed windows, the moon casts pale shadows on the snow, creating shifting patterns that dance quietly across the floor. Outside, the bay murmurs under its icy surface, a gentle harmony of tide and night wind that seeps through the walls and joins the hum of the cabin itself. From a corner, a small wooden shelf holds hand-carved instruments, each one silent yet filled with history. A bell rests among them, its soft ring still echoing faintly from your journey along the forest trail and shoreline. You lift it carefully, letting the faint note resonate through the room. It blends seamlessly with the hum of the fire, the slow sigh of wind through the cabin shutters, and the distant murmur of water beneath ice, creating a symphony of gentle, layered sound. The teapot's steam curls higher as you pour, the warm liquid releasing soft hints of cinnamon and dried orange peel. You take a sip, letting it calm the tension of your journey, the warmth flowing through your body like a tide reclaiming the shoreline. Outside, the night continues its slow, deliberate sweep across the frozen bay, but inside, time seems to hold still, cradled in this room of firelight, shadows, and soft resonance. Above the mantel, a painting glows faintly in the lantern's light, a depiction of the very bay you just crossed. Moonlight glancing across ice, pine trees framing a distant lighthouse, and the glimmer of stars reflected in the dark water. The brushstrokes shimmer subtly, as though the scene itself is alive, breathing in harmony with the room. It is comforting, a reminder that even in vast, endless winter nights, moments of stillness and quiet warmth exist for those who wander patiently. A soft bell tone calls again, barely audible, threading its way through the cabin's air. It is not urgent or commanding, merely gentle, like a suggestion. Continue, explore, listen. Through a narrow doorway at the back of the cabin, a faint glow beckons, promising more warmth, more discovery, and yet another secret tucked into the folds of the night. Rising from the rocking chair, you step carefully toward this glowing doorway. Each step carries the memory of the trail, the forest, the bay, and the lantern-lit paths that brought you here. The cabin hums around you, a living companion, and as your hand touches the doorframe, you feel a soft pulse of invitation. Beyond lies another chamber, smaller and even cozier, where the hush of the night gathers in corners and under beams, waiting to be heard, to be felt, to be understood. You step through, knowing that each room in this cabin, each glowing lantern, each whisper of wood and fire, carries the continuation of the story. The endless, calm winter night, unfolding like a lullaby, meant only for those who walk patiently and listen closely. The narrow doorway opens into a small chamber, its walls lined with smooth, pale wood that glows warmly in the lantern light. Every surface seems crafted with care, worn by time yet untouched by haste. The floorboards are polished by countless footsteps, each echoing softly, merging with the distant rhythm of the bay outside and the gentle sigh of wind through the cabin shutters. A single rug lies at the center, thick and textured, its muted patterns of pine and wave reflecting the forest and sea beyond. It seems to invite you to sit, to linger, to become part of this quiet, sacred space. Along one wall, shelves are stacked with neatly folded blankets, each soft and thick, some embroidered with symbols of winter, stars, and animals. They smell faintly of pine, smoke, and lavender, a calming mixture that settles like a lullaby in the chest and mind. Near the far corner, a small cradle rests, empty but tenderly arranged, its smooth wood polished to a gentle gleam. Though no child sleeps within it, the air carries the memory of warmth, of gentle rocking, of nights long past and moments of quiet care. The fireplace is modest, a small stone hearth with a slow, steady flame. Its amber glow casts shadows across the room that stretch, bend, and sway like living things. Yet their movement is gentle, never threatening, blending into the soft rhythm of the night. A pot of herbal tea rests near the fire, its steam curling in delicate ribbons, releasing the faint sweetness of chamomile and wild mint. You draw a slow breath, inhaling both warmth and fragrance, and feel the tension of the day, the trail, the bay, the forest, all melt away into a soft, drifting calm. From a shelf above the hearth, a small brass bell glimmers in the firelight. Its surface is etched with spirals and stars, echoing the carvings you passed on the forest posts and the birch trunks. When lightly struck, it emits a tone both clear and deep, carrying through the cabin like a message. You are welcome here. You are safe. You are free to rest. The sound mingles with the crackle of fire, the hum of lantern light, and the whisper of wind outside, creating a lullaby woven from forest, sea, and human hands. Near the window, a desk holds papers, quills, and small sketches. Each drawing depicts elements of the surrounding world: the frozen bay, the lighthouse, pine ridges, and winding forest paths. Some show stars reflected in water, waves cresting on ice, footprints in snow, all rendered in gentle, flowing lines. They do not demand attention. They merely invite observation, offering a quiet way to connect to the night beyond the cabin walls. You sit by the window and gaze outward. Moonlight pools on the snow outside, rippling across the icy bay like liquid silver. The waves murmur beneath the thin ice, their song steady, hypnotic, and calming. Occasionally, a gull or heron passes, silent and graceful, leaving a fleeting shadow before vanishing into the moonlit horizon. The night feels endless yet intimate, vast yet safe, each element harmonizing in a gentle symphony of winter. A soft bell chime comes from somewhere deeper in the cabin, barely audible, yet you recognize its rhythm. It seems to echo your heartbeat, slow and steady, drawing your attention inward. You close your eyes and listen, letting the sound, the warmth, and the fragrance carry you further into the quiet night. Memories of forest trails, moonlit dunes, and the icy bay fold into the present. A gentle layering of place and story that slows the mind and eases the spirit. The lantern flickers softly, casting a gentle halo across the chamber. Shadows stretch over the walls and shelves, moving as if they breathe along with the room. Every object, every surface, every whisper of air seems designed to guide you toward rest, toward peace, toward a place where time itself bends into a quiet lullaby. And as you sink deeper into this chamber, into the warmth, the light, the fragrance, and the soft resonance of bell and wave, you realize the night has more secrets to share. The cabin is not merely a shelter, it is a threshold. Beyond its inner warmth lie paths yet untaken, stories yet untold, whispers yet unheard, all waiting for the careful, patient traveler to follow. And you, quiet and awake in this soft winter haven, are ready to continue. The narrow doorway opens into a small chamber, its walls lined with smooth, pale wood that glows warmly in the lantern light. Every surface seems crafted with care, worn by time, yet untouched by haste. The floorboards are polished by countless footsteps, each echoing softly, merging with the distant rhythm of the bay outside and the gentle sigh of wind through the cabin shutters. A single rug lies at the center, thick and textured, its muted patterns of pine and wave reflecting the forest and sea beyond. It seems to invite you to sit, to linger, to become part of this quiet, sacred space. Along one wall, shelves are stacked with neatly folded blankets, each soft and thick, some embroidered with symbols of winter, stars, and animals. They smell faintly of pine, smoke, and lavender, a calming mixture that settles like a lullaby in the chest and mind. Near the far corner, a small cradle rests, empty but tenderly arranged. Its smooth wood polished to a gentle gleam. Though no child sleeps within it, the air carries the memory of warmth, of gentle rocking, of nights long past and moments of quiet care. The fireplace is modest, a small stone hearth with a slow, steady flame. Its amber glow casts shadows across the room that stretch, bend, and sway like living things. Yet their movement is gentle, never threatening, blending into the soft rhythm of the night. A pot of herbal tea rests near the fire, its steam curling in delicate ribbons, releasing the faint sweetness of chamomile and wild mint. You draw a slow breath, inhaling both warmth and fragrance, and feel the tension of the day, the trail, the bay, the forest, all melt away into a soft, drifting calm. From a shelf above the hearth, a small brass bell glimmers in the firelight. Its surface is etched with spirals and stars, echoing the carvings you passed on the forest posts and the birch trunks. When lightly struck, it emits a tone both clear and deep, carrying through the cabin like a message. You are welcome here, you are safe, you are free to rest. The sound mingles with the crackle of fire, the hum of lantern light, and the whisper of wind outside, creating a lullaby woven from forest, sea, and human hands. Near the window, a desk holds papers, quills, and small sketches. Each drawing depicts elements of the surrounding world: the frozen bay, the lighthouse, pine ridges, and winding forest paths. Some show stars reflected in water, waves cresting on ice, footprints in snow, all rendered in gentle, flowing lines. They do not demand attention. They merely invite observation, offering a quiet way to connect to the night beyond the cabin walls. You sit by the window and gaze outward. Moonlight pools on the snow outside, rippling across the icy bay like liquid silver. The waves murmur beneath the thin ice, their song steady, hypnotic, and calming. Occasionally, a gull or heron passes, silent and graceful, leaving a fleeting shadow before vanishing into the moonlit horizon. The night feels endless, yet intimate, vast, yet safe, each element harmonizing in a gentle symphony of winter. A soft bell chime comes from somewhere deeper in the cabin, barely audible, yet you recognize its rhythm. It seems to echo your heartbeat, slow and steady, drawing your attention inward. You close your eyes and listen, letting the sound, the warmth, and the fragrance carry you further into the quiet night. Memories of forest trails, moonlit dunes, and the icy bay fold into the present, a gentle layering of place and story that slows the mind and eases the spirit. The lantern flickers softly, casting a gentle halo across the chamber. Shadows stretch over the walls and shelves, moving as if they breathe along with the room. Every object, every surface, every whisper of air seems designed to guide you toward rest, toward peace, toward a place where time itself bends into a quiet lullaby. And as you sink deeper into this chamber, into the warmth, the light, the fragrance, and the soft resonance of bell and wave, you realize the night has more secrets to share. The cabin is not merely a shelter, it is a threshold. Beyond its inner warmth lie paths yet untaken, stories yet untold, whispers yet unheard, all waiting for the careful, patient traveler to follow. And you, quiet and awake in this soft winter haven, are ready to continue. The hidden cove stretches before you, a delicate crescent of sand and rock, softly washed by the slow, rhythmic tides. Moonlight filters through the fissures above, striking the water in long, glimmering paths that shift with each gentle wave. The air is bracing, scented with salt and cold stone, yet it carries a quiet warmth, as though the night itself offers comfort in its hush. Every sound is amplified in this secluded space: the soft lap of water against rock, the sigh of wind through cracks in stone, and the faint echo of distant bell tones lingering from the cabin above. You rise and step carefully along the smooth stones that edge the water. Each movement sends a tiny spray of mist into the air, sparkling like faint diamonds in the moonlight. The tide pulses beneath the frozen surface, steady and unhurried, as if keeping time for the entire night. Farther along the cove, small pools of melted water reflect the sky, capturing the stars in liquid silver, trembling faintly with each passing ripple. A narrow path of driftwood and sand curves along the shoreline, partially hidden beneath frost. You follow it, aware that each step is both an arrival and a continuation. Above, the cliffs rise silently, their faces carved by centuries of wind and tide. Icicles cling to overhangs, catching the moonlight in fragile prisms, while snow drifts gather in soft mounds along the ledges. The hush of the cliffs feels protective, a silent audience to your quiet journey along the moonlit shore. At the cove's far end, a natural arch of stone frames the open sea beyond. The waves slip under it, whispering against smooth rock in a sound both constant and comforting. Beneath the arch, the ice cracks faintly, a delicate song of tension and release, yet never harsh or jarring, only a reminder of the living rhythm of winter water. You pause to watch, mesmerized, feeling the night's pulse echo through your own body, slowing your breath, easing your mind. From within the arch, a faint glow appears, pale and steady, like the heartbeat of the cove itself. It grows as you approach, revealing a small rock platform, polished smooth by tide and time. On it rests a lantern, its amber flame dancing with a quiet insistence, reflecting off nearby ice and water. The light seems to invite you to sit, to rest, to merge with the soft cadence of waves, wind, and moonlight. You settle onto the platform, letting the stone beneath you absorb your weight. The tide murmurs, gentle and steady, a lullaby that flows from the ocean to the shore, to the rocks, to the stones, and finally into your chest. Above, the moon arcs slowly across the sky, its silver light painting shifting patterns on ice, water, and sand. Every breath of wind carries scents of pine from the nearby cliffs, salt from the distant bay, and the faint sweetness of snow-covered earth. From somewhere deep in the cove, a faint hum arises, soft as a whisper, It blends seamlessly with the lap of water and the sigh of wind, creating a layered harmony that seems older than memory. You close your eyes, letting the melody carry you further into stillness, into calm, into a place where the night itself holds you. The hum, the tide, the moonlight, and the lantern flame all merge into a single, gentle pulse, a heartbeat of the winter night. As you sit in that hush, you notice tiny footprints in the frost along the edge of the platform. They are delicate, perhaps left by a night creature, an owl, a fox, or even something unseen. Their path curves gently toward a narrow fissure in the cliffs, where faint light flickers as if another lantern waits beyond. Though the cove is serene, it suggests continuity, that the night has further secrets, soft stories waiting to unfold. You rise slowly, guided by the amber glow and the faint trail of footprints. Each step brings a rhythm, the soft crunch of frost beneath your boots, the pulse of waves, the whisper of wind through ice-laden cliffs. Ahead, the fissure widens slightly, hinting at a hidden path along the rocky ledge that hugs the moonlit water. The cove stretches behind you, quiet, protective, a memory already carved into the calm of your mind. And as you step forward toward the hidden passage, the moonlight dances across ice and stone. The tide hums its endless song, and the night whispers, "There is always more to explore, always another gentle secret to follow, always a path that leads deeper into the tranquil heart of winter." The fissure in the cliffs widens gradually, revealing a narrow path that hugs the moonlit bay. The rocks are smooth and cold beneath your boots, dusted with frost and delicate snow, yet stable enough to carry you safely along the edge. The tide hums beneath, constant and gentle, lapping against the frozen stones with the rhythm of an ancient lullaby. Above, the cliffs rise like silent sentinels, draped with icicles that catch moonlight, scattering it in tiny points of silver. A soft breeze brushes against your cheeks, carrying the mingled scents of salt, pine, and winter earth. Each inhalation calms your mind. Each exhalation releases the tension of your journey so far. The lanterns placed along the path flicker softly, amber flames suspended in glass, their warm glow cutting through the cool blue of moonlight. They seem positioned with care, not to guide hurried steps, but to accompany the traveler, to illuminate slowly, to mark each moment as part of the night's quiet story. The path curves gently, leading past small ledges where frozen ferns hang delicately over the water. Here and there, tiny footprints dot the snow-dusted stones, faint reminders that the night is alive with unseen presence. The hush of the cliffs is deep and complete, yet welcoming, like a vast cathedral of ice and stone where every sound is amplified, every breath measured, every step sacred. You pause at one of the lanterns, noticing the way its light pools on the frost beneath, creating patterns that shift and bend like liquid, moving slowly in rhythm with the gentle sway of the glass. Further along, the cliffside path narrows, and the hum of the ocean grows louder, blending with the occasional crack of ice drifting beneath the surface. The tide pulses beneath the frozen bay, steady, deliberate, a slow heartbeat that seems to synchronize with your own. Above, the moon traces a silver arc across the sky, its reflection shimmering on the water, rippling softly as if the entire bay breathes in time with the night. You step carefully, letting your senses drink in every detail. The scent of salt, the hush of wind, the soft crunch of snow beneath your boots. A natural alcove opens on the cliffside, tucked behind a veil of hanging icicles. Within it, the faint glow of another lantern reveals a small resting place, a carved wooden bench beside a tiny pool of water, partially frozen yet perfectly still. The surface reflects the stars and moonlight above, creating a mirror that seems to fold the sky into the earth. You sit, letting your hands rest on the bench, feeling the subtle warmth that rises from the lantern's amber glow and the soft resonance of the water. From somewhere above, a distant bell chimes softly, a faint note carried on the wind. It blends with the hum of the bay, the sigh of the cliffs, and the soft rustle of frozen ferns swaying lightly in the breeze. You close your eyes, letting the layered sounds carry you into stillness, into calm, into the sensation of being fully present in this moonlit sanctuary. The night feels eternal yet intimate, vast yet protective, a place where time folds gently around the traveler, leaving only quiet reflection and gentle awareness. After a long pause, you rise and continue along the path, following the subtle trail of lanterns and footprints. The cliffs gradually open onto a broader overlook, where the frozen bay stretches toward the distant horizon. Here, the moonlight pools across ice and snow, illuminating the shapes of distant rocks, tide lines, and scattered driftwood. The waves hum beneath the ice, steady and soothing, a lullaby that carries across the expanse of water and reaches the cliffs with soft insistence. At the edge of this overlook, a narrow stone stair leads downward, carved centuries ago into the cliffside. It winds carefully toward the water, inviting a descent to another hidden part of the bay, another secret tucked within the winter night. The lanterns continue to mark the path, faintly glowing against the icy stones, their light casting a golden thread that guides you with patience rather than urgency. You step onto the first stair, the cold stone solid beneath your boots, and begin your descent, each movement slow, deliberate, aware, in rhythm with the tide, the wind, the moon, and the hum of the night itself. And as you continue downward, the cliffside seems to fold around you like a protective cradle. The bay's hush deepens, and you realize the night holds endless stories waiting to unfold for those who wander quietly, who observe carefully, and who follow the gentle guidance of lanterns, water, and moonlight. The stone stair winds downward, each step echoing faintly against the cliffside, softened by the hush of the frozen bay. Moonlight spills through the narrow fissures above, glimmering on icy edges and frost-coated rocks. The air is crisp, carrying hints of salt, pine, and the faint, sweet scent of winter air drifting over the frozen bay. With each careful step, the distant hum of tide grows stronger, mingling with the soft whisper of wind through icicles hanging overhead. At the base of the stair, a hidden tidal platform emerges, carved naturally by centuries of waves and ice. The stone surface is smooth, polished by the movement of water, and dusted lightly with snow that glimmers like powdered silver in the moonlight. Here, the bay spreads outward, frozen and glistening, with faint cracks in the ice tracing delicate patterns across the surface. The tide hums beneath, a deep, rhythmic sound, steady as a heartbeat, reaching up from the hidden depths to touch the night above. A small lantern rests on a driftwood post at the platform's edge, casting a warm amber glow across the frost and ice. The light reflects in the cracks of the frozen bay, tracing glittering lines across the smooth expanse. Above, the moon arcs slowly, casting silver shadows across the platform, the ice, and the distant cliffs, as if the entire world has been carefully composed for quiet observation. You step onto the platform, feeling the smooth stone beneath your boots, and pause to breathe in the hush and stillness. The soft hum of tide, wind, and distant bell tones mingles into a gentle symphony. You hear the faint scrape of ice shifting beneath the bay's frozen surface, and the sound of waves brushing against hidden rocks. Every detail, every whisper of wind and water blends into a calm, slow rhythm that sinks into your chest and eases the mind. The platform seems suspended in time, isolated yet intimate, a threshold between the frozen bay and the mysteries that lie along the cliffs beyond. From the far edge of the platform, a narrow passage curves along the cliffside, just wide enough for a single person to walk. Snow and frost coat the stones, but the trail is clearly marked, as if the night itself has guided travelers here before. Small footprints dot the path, delicate impressions that suggest unseen creatures, or perhaps someone like you, has passed this way in quiet observation. The lanterns continue to glow softly, lining the edge of the platform and leading the eye toward the passage beyond. You step forward slowly, letting the amber light guide your path, The cliffs rise steeply to your left, icicles gleaming like frozen chandeliers, while the frozen bay stretches vast and silent to your right. The wind whispers across the icy expanse, carrying faint scents of pine, salt, and damp stone, wrapping the platform and path in a protective, calming embrace. Every breath draws you deeper into the quiet rhythm of the night. Every step becomes part of the winter's gentle song. Halfway along the passage, a small natural alcove opens from the cliffside. Inside, a shallow pool of water shimmers faintly, reflecting the moon and lantern light in delicate patterns. The pool is partially frozen, yet the water beneath flows silently, producing a subtle murmur that joins the hum of tide and wind. A smooth stone ledge encircles the pool, inviting you to sit and immerse yourself in the hush of this hidden tidal sanctuary. You pause on the ledge, letting your hands rest on the smooth stone. The gentle murmur of water, the soft whisper of wind, the subtle glow of lanterns, and the distant silver shimmer of the moon over the frozen bay merge into a lullaby that envelops body, mind, and spirit. For a long moment, you allow yourself to sink into the calm, to breathe in the rhythm of the tide, to listen to the winter night unfold around you. And as you sit, the hidden tidal platform feels alive with memory and presence, a secret place where every wave, every icicle, every shadow, and every lanterned path holds a story. The night stretches onward, infinite yet gentle, inviting further exploration along the cliffside, toward new discoveries, toward whispered secrets of the frozen bay, and toward a calm that moves as slowly and endlessly as the tide itself. The cliffside passage curves gently upward from the hidden tidal platform, its stones polished smooth by centuries of wind and water. Frost clings lightly to the edges, glinting in the pale silver of the moon above. The wind brushes softly against your cheeks, carrying a faint mingling of salt, pine, and winter's clean, crisp scent. Each step feels deliberate, measured, in harmony with the subtle hum of the tide beneath the frozen bay and the gentle sigh of wind through distant icicles. Lanterns continue to line the narrow path, their amber glow flickering softly against the dark stone. They cast gentle, elongated shadows that dance quietly across the walls and snow, blending seamlessly with the silver light of the moon. The effect is mesmerizing, creating the sense of walking through a living painting, where every detail, the stones, the frost, the waves, the wind, exists in perfect calm. Each step along the cliffside seems to lengthen time, allowing your mind to settle into a quiet rhythm in sync with the night itself. Halfway along the rise, the cliff opens onto a small ledge, just wide enough for a single person to pause and take in the view. Here, the frozen bay spreads endlessly, a vast expanse of silver and blue, the ice shimmering faintly with cracks and subtle undulations. The lighthouse at the distant horizon sweeps its slow beam across the bay, tracing arcs of light over ice, snow, and scattered driftwood. Above, the stars twinkle clearly, reflected faintly in the frozen surface below, creating a mirrored world where night seems infinite and serene. A gentle murmur reaches your ears, the tide moving beneath ice, whispering against the rocky shoreline. The hum is rhythmic and steady, blending with distant echoes from the cliffs and the soft creak of icicles overhead. You close your eyes briefly, letting the combined chorus of wind, water, and ice settle deep within, carrying away all tension, leaving only the calm, measured pace of the winter night. From the ledge, a narrow path leads higher along the cliff, partially sheltered by an overhang of rock. Icicles hang like fragile chandeliers, catching the lantern light and moonlight alike, casting intricate, shifting patterns across the frost-covered stones. You step carefully, aware of each footfall, conscious of the quiet energy that seems to pulse through the rocks and stones themselves. Every sound, the crunch of snow, the gentle sway of lantern flames, the sigh of wind, is amplified in this hush, creating a slow, meditative rhythm that fills the chest with warmth and serenity. About halfway along the overhang, a small cavity in the cliff reveals itself, a natural alcove that feels almost like a secret room. Inside, a shallow pool of water glimmers faintly, partially frozen yet alive with subtle ripples. The surface mirrors the moon, the stars, and the lantern glow, creating a delicate tapestry of reflected light and shadow. You step closer, placing a hand on the smooth stone edge, and feel the gentle hum of the water beneath, a soft vibration that resonates with your heartbeat. On a small rock ledge nearby, a lantern rests in quiet anticipation. Its amber glow illuminates the pool and part of the cliff wall, revealing faint carvings etched by time. Waves, stars, pine boughs, and small animal shapes. The carvings seem to pulse subtly in the lantern light, like a hidden language left by someone long ago, offering comfort, guidance, and the quiet joy of discovery. The alcove feels timeless, a place suspended between earth, ice, and sky, where every sound, every shimmer of light, every breath of wind contributes to a gentle lullaby. You sit on the stone edge, letting the subtle vibrations of water, wind, and lantern light carry your senses into a slow, gentle rhythm. The tide hums beneath the ice, the lantern flickers softly, and the moon traces silver paths across the frozen bay. For a long while, you simply exist here, cradled by the winter night, embraced by the hush of cliffs, water, and stars. Eventually, the path continues, winding upward along the cliffside toward a faint glow in the distance. The lanterns guide the way, their amber light weaving a trail along frost and stone, hinting at another secluded part of the bay, another story waiting to be discovered, another secret of the winter night. And as you rise to continue along the cliff, the combined hum of tide, wind, and distant bell tones carries forward, a slow, endless melody that promises that the night's journey is far from over, that tranquility stretches onward, and that more quiet wonders await just beyond the next bend. The cliffside path rises gradually, winding along jagged stone and frost-dusted ledges. Lanterns continue to glow softly, their amber light mingling with the pale silver of moonlight that spills across the frozen bay below. The wind carries a faint salt scent, mingled with the earthy aroma of pine that drifts down from the forested ridge above. Each step along the narrow path seems deliberate, measured, as if the night itself has slowed to match your rhythm, to allow your mind to settle fully into the hush of winter. Soon, the path opens onto a secluded grove perched above the bay, a hidden sanctuary of snow-laden pines, frost-covered stones, and soft, undisturbed snow. Lanterns hang from low branches and carved wooden posts, their amber light creating pools of warmth amid the cool blue of moonlit snow. The shadows of the trees stretch long and delicate, swaying slightly as the wind passes through, creating the sense of a quiet forest breathing in sync with the night. Every detail is subtle yet deliberate. The gentle curve of branches, the soft glimmer of ice on needles, the quiet murmur of snow sliding off distant boughs. A narrow path meanders through the grove, bordered by stones polished smooth by centuries of frost and footsteps. Each step leaves a faint imprint in the fresh snow, delicate evidence of your passage that the grove accepts without haste. Above, the moon glimmers through gaps in the canopy, scattering silver light that shifts as branches sway in the wind. The combination of amber lantern glow and pale moonlight transforms the grove into a dreamlike realm, a place where every sound and shadow invites quiet observation. Near the center of the grove, a small wooden bench rests beneath an arch of intertwined branches, dusted lightly with frost. The bench faces the bay, offering a view of frozen waters, glimmering ice, and the distant lighthouse whose beam sweeps slowly across the horizon. You settle onto the bench, feeling the crisp wood beneath your hands and the hush of the grove enveloping you. The wind carries distant murmurs of tide, the faint creak of ice, and the soft whisper of snow drifting from branches, each sound layering into a gentle, endless lullaby. On the ground beside the bench, a scattering of smooth stones, shells and pine cones forms a subtle pattern. It seems deliberate, though no human hands are present. It is as if the grove itself arranges its treasures, creating small moments of wonder for those who pause to notice. The lanterns glow faintly, flickering softly, their light reflected in the icy surfaces of small pools among the roots. Every element of this hidden grove, the stones, the water, the trees, the lanterns and the snow, interacts in harmony, forming a quiet sanctuary for both body and mind. A faint, melodic hum drifts through the grove, subtle and unhurried, like the echo of distant bells carried by the wind. You close your eyes, letting the hum mingle with the soft sigh of branches, the rhythmic murmur of the tide below, and the gentle shimmer of lantern light. Each breath becomes slower, deeper, synchronized with the natural rhythm of the winter night. Time seems suspended. Only presence matters, the sensation of stillness, the embrace of quiet, the awareness of a world both vast and intimately contained. From the grove's edge, a narrow trail climbs higher, leading toward a rocky overlook where another lantern glows faintly in the distance. The path is bordered by frost-coated shrubs and delicate snowdrifts, and each step produces a soft crunch that blends with the night's lullaby. The moonlight guides the way, scattering silvery reflections across ice-covered stones and twisted roots, illuminating small carvings etched into trees and rocks, symbols of stars, waves, and gentle spirals. Each symbol feels like a quiet invitation, a story left behind for the patient traveler who notices, who listens, who observes with care. Rising from the bench, you step onto the path, lanterns and moonlight illuminating the trail. The grove behind you hums softly, the whisper of trees, the faint murmur of water, and the subtle glow of lanterns carrying forward like a memory embedded in the air. Ahead, the rocky overlook promises a wider view of the bay, more secrets hidden in ice, snow, and the hush of night, and another gentle step into the calm story of winter. And as you follow the trail upward, the combined rhythm of wind, tide, lantern glow, and moonlight carries forward, guiding you deeper into the serene heart of the winter night, promising more quiet wonders, more gentle discoveries, and more layers of stillness waiting just beyond the next bend. The rocky trail from the hidden grove rises gently, curving along the cliff toward a natural overlook where the bay spreads wide beneath the moon. Each stone along the path is smooth, polished by centuries of wind, water, and ice, dusted lightly with frost that glimmers faintly in the lantern and moonlight. The wind carries the familiar mingling scents of salt, pine, and the faint sweetness of winter snow. Each breath of cold air calms the mind, slowing thoughts, deepening awareness, and merging the traveler with the hush of the night. The overlook opens onto a wide expanse of frozen tidal inlets, small channels carved by waves and ice over countless winters. Moonlight reflects across the icy surfaces, scattering silver ribbons that twist and shift with the subtle movement of tide beneath the frozen layer. The lanterns along the cliff edge glow softly, their amber flames steady and unhurried, casting gentle light that complements the silver sheen of moonlight. Every detail, the patterns of ice, the shadows of jagged rocks, the faint creak of frozen driftwood, creates a sense of both vastness and intimacy, a panorama of winter's quiet artistry. From the edge of the overlook, the inlets appear as delicate fingers stretching into the bay, partially frozen, partially liquid. Each channel carries the soft hum of tide beneath, a rhythmic vibration that merges seamlessly with the sigh of wind and the distant echo of cliffs. The water beneath ice produces a faint melodic resonance, a lullaby composed by nature itself, steady and infinite, perfect for quiet reflection and rest. The moon casts long silver streaks across the frozen surfaces, breaking the darkness into subtle, shifting pathways of light and shadow. A narrow ledge descends from the overlook, winding carefully along the edge of the inlets. Lanterns mark the way, their amber glow dancing across frost-covered stones and patches of snow. The path invites careful steps, slow movement, and mindfulness, encouraging the traveler to notice the small details, the intricate cracks in ice, the delicate frost on rocks, the faint ripple of water beneath the frozen surface. Every element feels purposeful, guiding the eye, the mind, and the spirit toward calm, toward presence, toward the gentle rhythm of winter. Halfway along the ledge, a small tidal pool rests, partially frozen, yet alive with motion beneath the ice. Its surface mirrors the moon and the scattered lantern light, creating a miniature galaxy of silver reflections. You pause here, resting a hand on the smooth edge of the stone, feeling the subtle vibration of water, wind, and tide beneath. The sound is soft, steady, hypnotic, carrying a sense of permanence and tranquility that seeps into every muscle, every thought, every heartbeat. From the pool, a narrow channel of water curves inward, forming a hidden inlet where small ice-covered stones and driftwood create delicate patterns. The tide hums beneath, steady and deliberate, echoing faintly against the rock walls. The lantern light reflects on the ice, creating a gentle mosaic of gold and silver, guiding the eye along the inlet's curve. Here, the winter night seems to hold its breath, allowing the traveler to exist fully in the hush, to observe, to breathe, to merge with the calm of the environment. A faint trail wends along the inlet, leading toward a cluster of low cliffs and frosted boulders. The path is narrow, bordered by patches of ice and snow that glisten in moonlight, guiding every careful step. The hush of the inlets, the rhythm of tide, the subtle hum of water beneath ice, and the gentle flicker of lanterns combine into a lullaby that settles in the chest, softens the mind, and invites quiet contemplation. The bay stretches endlessly, yet intimate details, cracks in ice, glimmers of moonlight, distant silhouettes of rocks, create a sense of closeness and wonder. You follow the trail to the cluster of boulders, each step measured, deliberate, and synchronized with the soft hum of the tide and the sigh of wind. From this vantage, the tidal inlets form delicate, frozen patterns resembling lace stretched across the bay, each channel alive with subtle movement beneath the ice. The lanterns continue to flicker softly, their amber glow harmonizing with moonlight, water, and snow. Every element, every sound, every reflection creates a serene rhythm, a gentle melody of winter's endless night. And as you pause on the boulder's edge, gazing over the moonlit tidal inlets, the hush of the cliffs, the murmur of tide, the flicker of lanterns, and the silver gleam of ice come together as a single lullaby. The night is infinite, quiet, and calm, inviting you to continue following its soft, winding stories deeper into the secrets of the frozen bay, toward discoveries that shimmer gently just beyond the next curve. The narrow trail along the tidal inlets winds gently, leading toward a cluster of frost-coated boulders, where the frozen water curves inward to form a hidden grotto. Moonlight spills across the ice, scattering silver reflections that dance along the smooth stones and frozen surfaces. The tide hums faintly beneath the ice, a steady rhythm that echoes softly against the boulders, carrying a sense of timelessness, calm, and gentle motion. Every step along the path feels deliberate, measured, merging your movements with the hush of the night, the slow pulse of tide, and the quiet breath of winter air. The grotto emerges gradually, carved naturally from rock and ice, its entrance partially veiled by delicate icicles. Each icicle catches the moonlight, scattering faint shards of silver across the frozen inlet, while lanterns glow softly, suspended from nearby boughs and driftwood posts. The effect is ethereal, a secret sanctuary hidden along the bay, illuminated gently by moon, ice, and flame. The air here is crisp and carries a faint scent of brine, pine, and damp stone, blending perfectly into the hush of the grotto. You step inside carefully, feeling the smooth, cool stone beneath your boots, and the hush deepens immediately. The ice walls of the grotto shimmer faintly, reflecting the lantern light and the moon's silver glow in intricate patterns. The tide hums beneath, producing a soft, almost melodic vibration that seems to resonate with your heartbeat, slowing it, deepening your breath, and settling the mind. Every sound, water moving beneath ice, wind brushing over the rocks, faint creaks of ice shifting, blends into a single, soothing lullaby. A shallow pool lies at the grotto's center, partially frozen, its surface reflecting the lanterns and moonlight like a scattered galaxy of silver and amber. You pause, placing a hand gently on the smooth edge of the stones surrounding the pool, feeling the subtle pulse of water beneath ice. It is hypnotic, steady, and calming, carrying the rhythm of tide, time, and the night itself into your chest and mind. Around the pool, small stones, shells, and pine cones form delicate arrangements, as though the grotto has placed them with care to mark quiet moments for travelers to notice. Above, the icicles hanging from the grotto's ceiling form natural chandeliers, catching light in a subtle dance of reflection and shadow. Each movement of the wind or tide creates soft flickers and gentle chimes as ice brushes against ice, adding a layered music to the night's hush. You close your eyes briefly, letting the combined melody of tide, wind, ice, and lantern light settle fully into your senses, carrying you deeper into calm, presence, and quiet reflection. A narrow passage curves around the grotto, leading toward the back where the ice walls rise slightly and open onto a hidden tidal channel. The channel glimmers faintly in moonlight, with subtle cracks tracing delicate patterns across the frozen water. Lanterns placed along the edges provide soft guidance, illuminating the path just enough to follow without hurry, inviting the traveler to explore slowly, deliberately, and mindfully. The hum of tide beneath the ice grows stronger here, carrying a gentle, continuous rhythm, a lullaby older than memory itself. You step along the passage, feeling the cool stone beneath your boots and the hush of the grotto wrap gently around you. The lantern light flickers softly, reflecting off the ice and water in golden glimmers, merging with the moon's silver sheen. The tidal channel curves slightly, leading toward another small inlet where smooth stones and frost-laden driftwood form delicate mosaics. Here, the water moves faintly beneath ice, producing subtle ripples and murmurs, a slow melody that guides every careful step and quiet breath. At the inlet's edge, the ice-carved walls form a gentle alcove, partially shielded from wind and tide. You pause on a smooth rock ledge, resting your hands and letting your eyes take in the subtle details. Glimmering ice, faint lantern reflections, the distant sweep of the lighthouse beam, and the soft shimmer of snow-covered boulders. The hush of the grotto and inlet envelops you completely, carrying a sense of sanctuary, timelessness, and infinite calm. Every element, the water, ice, lanterns, driftwood, and moonlight, blends into a single slow rhythm, a lullaby that resonates with heart, mind, and spirit. And as you sit in the alcove, cradled by ice and water, by lantern glow and moonlight, the winter night continues its gentle song. The tidal channel hums softly, the wind whispers over frozen stones, and the glow of lanterns reflects faintly on every surface, promising further secrets, soft discoveries, and the continuation of the bay's calm, endless story. The tidal channel narrows slightly as you follow the grotto's gentle curve, winding along ice-polished stone walls that rise smoothly on either side. Moonlight spills through openings in the cliff above, scattering silver reflections across the frozen water and creating delicate shifting patterns on the ice. The amber glow of lanterns, suspended from driftwood posts and small overhanging branches, complements the moonlight, casting soft, warm pools amid the cool blue of the night. The air is crisp, carrying the faint scent of brine, pine, and snow-dusted stone, wrapping around you like a quiet, protective cloak. The hum of tide beneath the ice grows louder, steady and slow, a deep vibration that seems to synchronize with your breath, your heartbeat, and the rhythm of the night itself. Faint cracks trace delicate patterns across the frozen channel, sparkling in the soft lantern light, like a subtle constellation beneath your feet. You pause for a moment, listening to the combined lullaby of wind brushing over ice, the gentle murmur of tide, and the faint chime of icicles brushing against one another. Every detail feels intentional, every movement deliberate, as if the night itself is guiding you deeper into calm, stillness, and quiet reflection. Ahead, the channel widens into a small hidden alcove, partially sheltered by overhanging cliffs. The water here is shallow, partially frozen, its surface mirroring the moon and lanterns in delicate shifting patterns of silver and amber. Icicles hang from the rocky ceiling like fragile chandeliers, catching faint gusts of wind and producing soft, crystalline chimes that blend seamlessly with the hum of the tide. You step carefully onto the smooth stones at the water's edge, feeling the cool stone beneath your boots, and pause to take in the hush of this secret place. The alcove feels timeless, a sanctuary carved by tide, wind, and ice over centuries. Small stones, shells, and driftwood form subtle arrangements along the edge, seemingly left with intention to mark quiet moments for travelers who notice. The lanterns cast gentle shadows across the walls, dancing softly as their flames respond to the faintest whisper of wind. Above, the moon arcs slowly across the sky, its silver light mingling with amber reflections, creating a serene tapestry that stretches across water, ice, and stone. You move closer to the pool at the center of the alcove, where a thin layer of ice reveals the subtle ripples of water beneath. Placing your hand gently on the smooth edge of the stone, you feel the faint pulse of the tide, a rhythm as old as the bay itself. The hum of water, the soft chime of ice, the whisper of wind, and the gentle glow of lanterns merge into a singular, meditative lullaby that envelops mind, body, and spirit. Every detail of the alcove, the glimmering ice, the flowing water beneath, the lanterns, the moonlight, and even the faint footprints in the frost, feels part of an unhurried story unfolding slowly before you. From a narrow crevice to the right, a small stream of water trickles into the alcove, producing a subtle melodic hum as it merges with the tide beneath ice. The stream catches the moonlight in tiny glimmers, reflecting faintly against the smooth rock walls and producing miniature sparkles that resemble floating stars. You step closer, mesmerized by the quiet interplay of light and motion, letting the rhythmic melody settle fully into your senses. Each breath becomes slower, each heartbeat more measured, and your mind drifts gently along the currents of water, ice, wind, and moonlight. The channel curves further along the alcove, leading toward another small inlet, partially hidden by frosted boulders and low-hanging pine branches. Lanterns continue to mark the way, their amber glow guiding each careful step without urgency, encouraging slow observation and gentle curiosity. The moon's reflection shimmers across the frozen surface, stretching along the channel in silver ribbons that seem to ripple with the hum of the tide. Every step, every sound, every flicker of light becomes part of the lullaby, a rhythm of winter night that carries the traveler forward in calm, quiet wonder. You pause near the entrance to the inlet, feeling the soft crunch of frost beneath your boots, the gentle vibration of tide beneath ice, and the hush of the alcove wrapping around you. The hum of the channel, the delicate chimes of icicles, and the flickering lantern light form a harmonious symphony, a slow, endless melody that resonates deep within. And as you prepare to follow the inlet further, the moonlight, water, and lanterns promise more hidden secrets, soft discoveries, and gentle reflections waiting just beyond the next curve, continuing the serene journey through winter's quiet heart. The hidden inlet narrows, forming a gentle corridor along the cliffside, where ice-coated rocks rise smoothly on either side. Moonlight filters through small openings above, scattering silvery beams across the frozen water and frost-laden stones. Lanterns hang from driftwood posts and low branches, their amber glow complementing the moon's cool light, creating a serene interplay of gold and silver that dances gently across the icy corridor. The air is crisp, infused with the scents of brine, pine, and the subtle sweetness of fresh snow, wrapping the space in a hush that seems almost tangible. The channel hums softly beneath the ice, steady and slow, carrying a vibration that seems to resonate with your own heartbeat. Every movement along the corridor, the crunch of boots on frost, the subtle sway of lantern flames, the faint sigh of wind, blends seamlessly with the natural lullaby of tide and ice. You move carefully, feeling each step as part of the rhythm, letting the sounds, light and cold air synchronize with your breath, slowing your mind and deepening your awareness. The passage feels alive yet protective, a gentle cradle carved by centuries of tide, wind, and frost. Small alcoves appear intermittently along the ice-lit corridor, each offering subtle moments of wonder. In one, a shallow pool shimmers beneath a thin layer of ice, reflecting lantern and moonlight in shifting, delicate patterns. Nearby, frost-laden driftwood and smooth stones form tiny mosaics, like quiet messages left for travelers to notice, to pause, to breathe, to exist fully in the hush. The faint chime of icicles, the whisper of wind, and the hum of water beneath ice create a layered lullaby, soft enough to fill the chest without urgency, infinite enough to carry the mind along in calm motion. Halfway through the passage, the ice walls curve inward slightly, forming a small cave where the lantern glow multiplies across crystallized surfaces. Icicles hang like delicate chandeliers, catching faint gusts of wind and producing subtle, musical tinkles that blend with the hum of tide beneath the frozen channel. The floor is polished smooth by centuries of frozen water, sprinkled lightly with snow, creating a soft cushion for careful steps. Every element, the ice, the reflections, the subtle sounds, and the hush of the night, works together to slow perception, inviting quiet observation and deep, meditative breathing. A small ledge rises along one side of the cave, partially sheltered from wind, offering a spot to rest and observe. You step onto it, feeling the smooth stone beneath your hands, and allow your eyes to take in the frozen beauty surrounding you. Silver reflections on ice, amber lantern glow, delicate frost patterns on rocks, and faint ripples beneath thin layers of water. Time stretches, as though the night itself has slowed to allow full presence, full absorption into the gentle rhythm of this hidden sanctuary. From the far edge of the cave, a narrow passage curves around, leading to another pool partially frozen, where lantern reflections ripple across still water. The tide hums beneath, carrying a slow, deliberate rhythm that seems to harmonize with the soft creak of icicles above and the faint sigh of wind brushing the corridor. You step closer to the pool, letting the amber light warm your hands as you feel the subtle pulse of water beneath the ice. Every breath becomes slower, each heartbeat more measured, and your mind drifts gently along the calm, endless lullaby of tide, ice, and moonlight. The passage widens slightly at the pool's edge, revealing another small inlet tucked between smooth boulders dusted with frost. Lanterns guide the way, their glow reflecting on ice, water, and stone, creating a tranquil tapestry of soft light and subtle shadows. The hum of tide, the chime of icicles, and the flicker of lanterns form a harmonious symphony, carrying the traveler deeper into calm and quiet wonder. Each step along the inlet seems deliberate, unhurried, as if the night itself is coaxing the mind to relax, to notice, to become part of the serene story unfolding around frozen water, stone, and lantern light. You pause at the inlet's edge, letting the hush of ice, tide, and lanterns envelop you completely. The moon's reflection shimmers across frozen surfaces, faint ripples in the water beneath echoing the rhythm of your breath. Above, icicles tinkle softly, lantern flames flicker gently, and the wind sighs through the corridor, weaving an endless lullaby that carries the night forward. And as you prepare to follow the passage deeper, the ice-lit channel promises more hidden wonders, gentle reflections, and serene discoveries just beyond the next bend, continuing the soft, endless journey through winter's quiet heart. The ice-lit passage curves gently, leading toward a secluded inlet tucked between frost-coated boulders. Lanterns line the narrow trail, their soft amber glow dancing across the icy surfaces, blending gently with the pale silver of moonlight. The air carries the crisp scent of winter, salt from the bay, pine from the nearby cliffs, and the subtle freshness of snow drifting over stone. Each step along the trail feels deliberate, measured, part of the natural rhythm that blends the hum of tide, the whisper of wind, and the delicate chime of icicles. The inlet emerges gradually, revealing a calm pool of partially frozen water, cradled by smooth stone walls, dusted with frost. The ice shimmers under moonlight, silver ribbons stretching across its surface, while the lanterns cast warm amber reflections that ripple gently on the frozen water. The tide hums beneath, steady and slow, a deep vibration that seems to merge with your own heartbeat. Every detail, the movement of water under ice, the faint cracks tracing delicate patterns, the soft glow of lanterns, forms a serene symphony that carries both mind and body into stillness. Small driftwood logs and smooth stones are scattered along the inlet's edge, each partially covered with frost. Some stones glimmer like tiny stars when caught by moonlight, while the driftwood reflects warm lantern light, creating a subtle contrast of silver and gold. Above, the icicles hanging from the cliff edge sway gently, chime-like as they brush against each other, adding another layer to the night's lullaby. The frozen landscape feels alive, yet protective, holding you in quietude as if the inlet itself is aware of your presence and welcomes your pause. A narrow ledge runs along one side of the inlet, just wide enough to step carefully and observe the shimmering water below. You pause on the ledge, placing your hand lightly on a frost-dusted boulder, feeling the subtle vibration of water beneath ice. The hum of the tide, the sigh of wind, and the faint ripple of lantern light on ice combine into a slow, deliberate rhythm. Breath lengthens, chest softens, mind drifts gently along the flow of water, the hush of stone and the infinite calm of winter night. Toward the far edge of the inlet, a small ice-carved channel winds inward, partially hidden by frost-laden boulders and low-hanging pine branches. Lanterns mark the way, their amber glow reflecting across ice and water, guiding every careful step. The channel hums faintly beneath ice, carrying a gentle vibration that merges seamlessly with the soft chime of icicles and the whisper of wind. Each element, the moonlight, lanterns, ice, water, and stones, feels interconnected, a subtle orchestration designed to soothe, calm, and slow perception. The inlet's inner channel curves gently, revealing a secluded alcove carved naturally by tide and ice. Here, the pool is wider, partially frozen, with small ripples visible beneath thin layers of ice. Moonlight scatters across the surface, mingling with lantern reflections in a delicate dance of silver and amber. You step closer, placing a hand on the smooth stone edge, letting the subtle vibrations of water, wind, and ice carry into your chest and mind. A faint pattern of small stones, shells, and pine cones lines the inner alcove, as though arranged carefully by the winter night itself. The lanterns flicker softly, casting gentle shadows across ice and stone, while the wind whispers through the icicles overhead, producing subtle chimes. Each breath deepens, every heartbeat slows, and the mind drifts naturally into the tranquil rhythm of tide, wind, ice, and light. The alcove feels suspended in time, a perfect sanctuary carved by centuries, holding quiet stories, gentle reflections, and soft secrets of the frozen bay. From the alcove, a narrow trail curves gently upward toward another small ledge overlooking the inlet. The lanterns continue to glow softly. Moonlight glimmers on frost-coated stones, and the hum of the tide beneath ice continues its steady lullaby. Every step along this final stretch is deliberate, unhurried, a continuation of the serene journey through winter's quiet heart. And as you pause at the ledge, gazing over the frost-covered inlet below, the combination of ice, water, lanterns, and moonlight carries you deeper into the calm, inviting, more hidden wonders, gentle reflections, and serene discoveries just beyond the next bend. The trail winds gently upward from the frost-covered inlet, curving around frost-laden boulders and pine trees dusted with snow. Lanterns line the path, their amber glow flickering softly across stones polished smooth by centuries of wind, water, and ice. The moon casts silver light on the snow and frozen surfaces, blending seamlessly with the warm lantern reflections, creating an endless interplay of gold and silver across the landscape. The air carries the faint, crisp scents of brine and pine, and the hush of the night wraps around each careful step, slowing thoughts, softening the chest, and deepening awareness of the quiet winter world. Ahead, the trail opens onto a secluded series of shallow pools, each partially frozen, cradled among smooth boulders and gently sloping cliffs. The water mirrors the moon and lantern light, scattering silver and amber ribbons across ice, stones, and frost. Small currents hum faintly beneath the thin ice, producing subtle vibrations that merge with the distant sigh of wind and the soft chime of icicles overhead. Every sound, every reflection, every shimmer of light contributes to the quiet, endless lullaby of the winter night. The largest pool rests in the center, surrounded by frost-coated boulders and pine branches dusted lightly with snow. Lanterns hang from low limbs and posts, their glow steady and unhurried, casting gentle pools of warmth amid the cool silver light of moonlight. The surface of the water ripples faintly beneath the ice, creating delicate, shifting patterns of light and reflection that mesmerize the eye and calm the mind. You step closer, letting the soft hum of tide, the gentle ripple of water, and the faint chime of ice settle fully into your senses. Each breath lengthening naturally, each heartbeat slowing gently. A narrow path curves around the pools, leading to smaller, shallower basins, partially hidden by boulders and frost-laden shrubs. Each pool reflects lantern and moonlight differently, producing subtle variations of gold, silver, and pale blue that shimmer gently across frozen surfaces. Icicles hang from rocks and branches, brushing softly in the wind, producing faint, melodic chimes that blend seamlessly with the hum of tide and water. The combined sound is hypnotic, a meditative lullaby, carrying the mind and body into deep calm, presence, and quiet reflection. Scattered along the edges of the pools are smooth stones, shells, and pine cones, partially covered with frost and snow. The arrangement feels intentional, as though the winter night itself has created a subtle, hidden pattern for travelers to notice, to pause, and to absorb fully. The lantern glow casts delicate shadows across the stones, reflecting faintly on icy surfaces, creating a gentle, dynamic tapestry that shifts with every small breeze. Time seems suspended here, each moment stretching softly, holding you in the hush of winter, the rhythm of tide, and the quiet lullaby of ice, water, and lantern light. From the far edge of the pools, a narrow channel winds upward along the cliffs, partially hidden by boulders and pine branches. The path is gentle, encouraging slow, deliberate steps, each one merging with the rhythm of the pools, the hum of tide beneath ice, and the soft flicker of lantern light. Moonlight continues to scatter across surfaces, tracing silver ribbons on ice, water, and stone, blending perfectly with amber lantern reflections to produce a calm, meditative glow. Every step, every glance, every soft breath merges seamlessly with the serene environment, carrying the traveler deeper into the winter night's quiet heart. Pausing on a smooth boulder beside one of the pools, you feel the combined energy of water, ice, lantern light, and wind hum gently in your chest. The moon reflects in the largest pool, stretching its silver arc across the frozen surface, while lanterns shimmer softly nearby. The hum of tide beneath ice, the subtle chime of icicles, and the whisper of wind create a layered, soothing symphony. All around, the pools, boulders, and lanterns tell a quiet story of winter's calm, inviting reflection, rest, and gentle presence. And as you rise to continue along the channel, following the gentle curve of the cliffside, the lantern-lit pools behind you fade softly into memory, leaving only the hush of wind, the hum of tide, and the moon's silver glow to guide you toward more hidden wonders, soft reflections, and serene discoveries just beyond the next bend. The trail curves gently upward from the lantern-lit pools, hugging the cliffside where frost-coated boulders rise smoothly beside you. Lanterns continue to line the path, their amber glow flickering softly across icy stone and snow-dusted pine branches. Moonlight filters through openings in the cliffs above, scattering silver beams across the frozen inlets below, mingling with lantern reflections to create an ethereal tapestry of gold and silver. The air is crisp, carrying faint scents of brine, pine, and snow, wrapping around each careful step and deepening the hush that permeates the night. Below, frozen inlets stretch quietly, partially frozen pools and channels weaving between boulders and driftwood. The surface of the ice shimmers in the soft moonlight, silver ribbons stretching across gentle ripples of water beneath. The tide hums faintly beneath the frozen layer, producing a steady, gentle vibration that seems to merge seamlessly with your heartbeat. Every sound, the sigh of wind, the subtle chime of icicles, the hum of tide, blends into a layered lullaby that carries the mind and body into calm stillness. The path widens slightly, offering a vantage point to observe several small inlets in succession. Each inlet reflects moonlight and lantern glow differently, some shimmering with delicate silver streaks across ice, others glowing with warm amber reflections that dance across the frozen surfaces. Small driftwood pieces and stones lie scattered along the edges, partially covered in frost and snow, forming subtle patterns that feel as though the winter night itself arranged them with care. The air feels alive yet protective, holding you in quietude as if the inlets welcome your pause, your reflection, your presence in this serene world. From this ledge, a narrow channel curves downward, winding through frost-coated boulders and overhanging pine branches toward a secluded alcove. The hum of water beneath ice grows softer but more resonant, carrying a subtle rhythm that blends seamlessly with the soft chime of icicles overhead and the gentle whisper of wind. Each step along the channel seems unhurried, deliberate, merging with the natural rhythm of tide, ice, and light. The path encourages slow observation, deep breaths, and full presence, inviting you to absorb every shimmer of moonlight, flicker of lantern, and ripple of water. A small alcove appears, partially hidden by boulders and low-hanging branches dusted with frost. Inside, a shallow pool mirrors the moon and lanterns, scattering delicate patterns of silver and amber across its icy surface. Icicles hang from the cliff above like fragile chandeliers, brushing softly in the wind to produce gentle, melodic chimes that weave into the lullaby of tide and water. The air feels still and timeless, carrying the hush of the night, the subtle vibration of water beneath ice, and the warm golden glow of lanterns in perfect harmony. Stepping closer to the pool, you notice small stones, shells, and driftwood arranged along the edges, partially dusted with frost. Each detail feels deliberate, a quiet message from the winter night for travelers to pause, to notice, to breathe deeply, and to exist fully in the hush. The hum of tide beneath ice, the flicker of lantern light, the subtle chime of icicles, and the gentle ripple of water merge into a meditative, hypnotic rhythm. Every breath lengthens, every heartbeat slows, and your mind drifts naturally along the calm flow of winter night, water, and stone. From the alcove, a narrow channel continues along the cliffside, leading toward another frozen inlet partially hidden by frost-laden boulders and pine branches. Lanterns guide the way, their amber glow reflecting on ice, water, and stone, blending seamlessly with the silver moonlight above. The hum of tide beneath ice continues steadily, carrying a gentle vibration that resonates through the chest and mind. Every element, the inlets, lanterns, icicles, water, and moonlight, works together in a continuous lullaby, guiding the traveler deeper into calm, presence, and quiet reflection. Pausing on a smooth boulder beside the channel, you feel the hush of frozen inlets enveloping you completely. Moonlight shimmers across ice, lanterns flicker softly, and the hum of water beneath frozen surfaces resonates with a gentle rhythm. The cliffside inlets, the subtle chime of icicles, and the faint whisper of wind form a harmonious symphony, carrying the winter night's calm forward. And as you prepare to follow the channel to the next hidden alcove, The frozen inlets promise more serene reflections, gentle discoveries, and the soft continuation of the winter night's endless story. The cliffside path curves gently, following the narrow trail above the frozen inlets, where frost-coated boulders rise like silent sentinels on either side. Lanterns hang from overhanging pine branches, their amber glow flickering softly across the ice-polished stones. Moonlight filters through small openings in the cliffs above, casting silver streaks across frozen surfaces and reflecting in the calm tidal channels below. The air is crisp, carrying the mingled scents of brine, pine, and fresh snow, enveloping every careful step in the hush of winter night. Ahead, the path opens to a secluded alcove, partially sheltered by smooth stone walls and low-hanging boughs dusted with frost. The alcove contains a shallow pool, its surface partially frozen and reflecting both moonlight and lantern glow in delicate, shifting patterns of silver and amber. A faint hum rises from the water beneath the ice, steady and slow, merging with the subtle chime of icicles and the whisper of wind through pine branches. The combined sounds create a meditative rhythm, a lullaby of tide, ice, and night that carries the traveler deeper into calm and quiet reflection. Stepping closer to the pool, you notice the smooth stones, driftwood, and pine cones arranged along its edges, partially dusted with frost and snow. The arrangements seem purposeful, inviting careful observation, quiet contemplation, and gentle breathing. The lanterns cast soft amber reflections across ice and water, mingling with the silver moonlight in a delicate interplay that stretches across the alcove. Every element, the water, ice, stones, and light, works in harmony to create a serene, timeless space that holds the hush of the winter night completely. From the pool, a narrow channel winds inward, partially hidden by frost-laden boulders and pine branches. The tide hums faintly beneath the ice, producing subtle vibrations that blend seamlessly with the gentle chime of icicles above. Every step along the channel is deliberate, unhurried, and synchronized with the rhythm of the night, encouraging slow observation, mindful breathing, and full presence in this tranquil world. The moon's reflection stretches across the channel in silver ribbons, mingling with flickering lantern light in delicate patterns that dance across ice and stone. Along the edges of the channel, small tidal pools catch lantern and moonlight, each shimmering uniquely as water ripples faintly beneath thin ice layers. The sound of the tide hums continuously, a low, steady lullaby that resonates in the chest and settles the mind. Icicles hanging from overhanging cliffs brush softly in the wind, producing gentle, melodic chimes that complement the hum of tide and ripple of water. Every element, the frozen pools, lantern light, moonlight, ice, and wind, merges into a hypnotic, meditative rhythm that carries the traveler deeper into stillness. The channel curves gently toward a slightly wider section of the alcove, where the cliffs rise smoothly on either side. Here, the ice reflects faint amber lantern light and soft silver moonlight across its partially frozen surface, creating a serene mosaic of shifting light. The hum of tide beneath ice, the subtle chime of icicles, and the gentle whisper of wind combine into a layered symphony, a lullaby that resonates through the chest, mind, and spirit. Every breath lengthens, every heartbeat slows, and the calm of winter night feels infinite, unhurried, and protective. From the alcove, the trail continues along the cliffside, winding carefully around frost-coated boulders and low-hanging pine branches. The moonlight stretches across the frozen inlets below, silver ribbons reflecting faintly on rippling water beneath thin layers of ice. Lanterns flicker softly, guiding each step with gentle amber light, their reflections dancing across stone, ice, and water. Every step, every glance, and every soft breath merges seamlessly with the serene environment, carrying the traveler deeper into the endless calm, quiet reflections, and gentle discoveries of the winter night. Pausing on a smooth stone ledge, you feel the hush of the frost-covered alcove and channel enveloping you completely. Moonlight shimmers across frozen surfaces, lanterns flicker softly, and the hum of tide beneath ice resonates in perfect harmony, with the subtle chime of icicles and the whisper of wind. The frozen channel, the small tidal pools, and the lantern-lit alcove combine into a meditative symphony that carries the winter night's calm forward, inviting the traveler to continue along the cliffside toward more hidden wonders. And as you follow the gentle curve of the path, the frost-covered alcove and its pools fade softly into memory, leaving only the hush of wind, water, ice and moonlight to guide the way toward the next secret haven. The cliffside path curves gently onward, winding along frost-coated boulders and pine branches lightly dusted with snow. Lanterns continue to line the trail, their amber glow flickering softly across the ice-polished stones and the thin sheets of frozen water that glimmer under moonlight. The air carries the crisp scent of brine, pine, and freshly fallen snow, wrapping around each step in a quiet hush that seems almost tangible. Every movement feels deliberate, synchronized with the steady hum of tide beneath ice and the gentle whisper of wind weaving through the cliffs and trees. Ahead, the trail opens into a secluded section where multiple small pools lie partially frozen between smooth boulders. Each pool reflects the soft glow of lanterns and the silver sheen of moonlight, scattering ribbons of gold and silver across ice, stone, and gently rippling water. The hum of the tide beneath ice creates a steady vibration, blending seamlessly with the faint chime of icicles and the whisper of wind. Every sound, reflection, and shimmer contributes to a slow, meditative lullaby that fills the chest, settles the mind, and encourages full presence. The largest of the pools sits in the center, partially frozen, with delicate cracks tracing patterns across its surface. The ice catches moonlight in silver streaks and lantern glow in warm amber hues, producing a hypnotic dance of light that shifts gently with each small ripple of water beneath. Driftwood, smooth stones, and pine cones form subtle arrangements along the edges, partially dusted with frost and snow, like a hidden pattern left by the night itself. Each detail seems intentional, a quiet invitation to pause, reflect, and absorb the serene beauty of the winter landscape. A narrow channel curves around the central pool, leading to smaller, shallow basins tucked between frost-laden boulders. The channel hums faintly beneath the thin ice, carrying a subtle vibration that merges naturally with the soft chime of icicles above and the gentle rustle of wind through pine branches. Each step along the path is unhurried, deliberate, and part of the rhythm of the night, merging movement, breath, and presence into a slow, continuous flow of calm. The interplay of moonlight and lantern glow produces delicate reflections on ice and water, shifting constantly in a gentle, mesmerizing dance. Icicles hang from boulders and branches overhead, brushing softly in the breeze to produce faint musical tinkles that blend with the hum of tide and ripple of water. The sound is hypnotic, layered and meditative, carrying the mind and body deeper into the hush of the winter night. Every breath lengthens, every heartbeat slows, and the soft reflections of lanterns and moonlight create an infinite sense of calm and presence. The winter night seems alive yet protective, holding you in quiet stillness as the path leads further into this secluded section. Toward the far edge of the pools, a narrow channel winds upward along frost-coated cliffs, partially hidden by pine branches and boulders dusted with snow. Lanterns line the channel, their amber glow merging with silver moonlight in delicate reflections across ice, water, and stone. The tide hums faintly beneath frozen surfaces, producing a low, steady vibration that resonates through the chest and settles the mind. Every element, the frozen pools, lanterns, moonlight, icicles, and whisper of wind, forms a meditative symphony that guides the traveler further along the serene winter path. Pausing on a smooth stone ledge beside one of the pools, you feel the hush of the secluded lantern-lit section enveloping you completely. Moonlight shimmers across ice, lanterns flicker softly, and the gentle chime of icicles resonates alongside the hum of tide beneath frozen water. The frozen pools, the winding channels, and the subtle arrangements of driftwood and stones combine to form a harmonious, hypnotic lullaby, carrying the winter night's calm forward. And as you rise to continue along the cliffside path, the secluded section fades softly into memory, leaving only the hush of ice, water, wind, and lantern light to guide you toward the next hidden wonder, gentle reflection, and serene discovery beyond the next bend. The cliffside trail continues, winding carefully along frost-coated boulders and pine branches dusted with fresh snow. Lanterns flicker softly along the path, their amber glow reflecting on the ice-polished stones and the thin sheets of frozen water that catch the moonlight above. Silver rays spill across the cliff, mingling with the golden glow of the lanterns, producing an ethereal, calming interplay of light and shadow. The air is crisp and still, carrying the subtle scents of brine, pine, and fresh snow, wrapping each step in the hush of winter night and drawing you deeper into presence, awareness, and serene stillness. Ahead, the trail opens into a final series of frozen inlets, a hidden sanctuary cradled by cliffs rising smoothly on either side. The largest inlet lies in the center, partially frozen, with thin ice tracing delicate, glimmering patterns across the surface of the water. The hum of the tide beneath ice produces a slow, steady vibration, harmonizing with the soft chime of icicles above and the whisper of wind weaving through pine branches. Every sound, every reflection, every ripple of light combines into a hypnotic, meditative lullaby, inviting deep relaxation and a gentle surrender to the quiet of the night. Lanterns glow softly along the edges of the inlet, their amber light reflecting across the ice and partially frozen water, mingling seamlessly with the silver moonlight. Small driftwood logs, smooth stones, and pine cones form subtle patterns along the edges, partially dusted with frost, as if placed with intention by the winter night itself. The arrangement of light, ice, and natural elements encourages slow observation, mindful breathing, and full presence in this serene, hidden sanctuary. Every detail, the hum of tide, the delicate ripple of water, the flicker of lantern light, the soft chime of icicles, and the quiet hush of the wind, works together to create perfect stillness. A narrow channel winds gently from the main inlet towards smaller, shallower pools, tucked between frost-laden boulders. The channel hums faintly beneath ice, carrying subtle vibrations that seem to resonate with your own heartbeat and breath. Each careful step merges seamlessly with the natural rhythm of water, ice, and wind, deepening the sense of calm and quiet reflection. Moonlight glimmers across the surface of each pool, creating silver ribbons that ripple across ice and water, blending effortlessly with the soft amber lantern reflections. Icicles hang like delicate chandeliers from cliff edges and branches overhead, brushing softly in the wind to produce gentle musical chimes that complement the continuous hum of tide and subtle ripple of water. Every breath lengthens, every heartbeat slows, and the mind drifts naturally along the slow, meditative rhythm of winter night. The frozen pools, winding channels, and amber-lit alcoves create a serene tapestry of calm, quiet, and gentle reflection, carrying the traveler deeper into the hush of the winter sanctuary. Toward the far edge of the final inlet, a narrow trail rises along frost-coated cliffs, curving gently around boulders and pine branches. Lanterns continue to line the path, their amber glow mingling with silver moonlight to illuminate each careful step. The hum of tide beneath ice, the chime of icicles, and the gentle whisper of wind form a continuous lullaby, inviting full presence, relaxation, and surrender to the serene rhythm of the winter night. Every element, the frozen inlets, lanterns, moonlight, ice, and gentle sounds of water, blends into a seamless meditation, carrying the mind and body toward quiet restfulness. Pausing on a smooth stone ledge beside the final pool, you feel the hush of the sanctuary wrap completely around you. Moonlight shimmers across the ice, lanterns flicker softly, and the hum of tide beneath frozen water resonates alongside the chime of icicles and the whisper of wind. The final series of frozen inlets, the winding channels, and the amber-lit alcoves form a harmonious, hypnotic symphony, carrying the winter night's calm fully forward. And as you prepare to follow the gentle trail back or rest here in quiet stillness, The frozen sanctuary promises peace, gentle reflection, and the soft conclusion of the serene journey through winter's quiet heart. The cliffside path winds gently from the final lantern-lit inlet, curving along frost-coated boulders and snow-dusted pine branches. Lanterns flicker softly along the trail, their amber glow mingling with silver moonlight, casting delicate reflections across ice-polished stones and frozen surfaces. The air carries the crisp scent of brine, pine, and snow, wrapping each careful step in the hush of winter night. Every breath deepens, every heartbeat slows, and the quiet rhythm of tide, ice, and wind carries the mind gently along, easing it into the serene embrace of the night. Ahead, the trail opens to a small ledge overlooking the frozen inlets below, a final vantage point where the lanterns, ice, and moonlight converge into a tranquil panorama. The hum of the tide beneath ice resonates softly, blending with the gentle chime of icicles overhead and the whisper of wind weaving through frost-laden branches. The pools shimmer in silver and amber, reflecting moonlight and lantern glow in delicate, shifting patterns. Every ripple, every shimmer, every subtle vibration feels like a soft lullaby, calling the traveler to pause, breathe, and exist fully in the hush of winter night. You step onto the ledge, letting your hands rest lightly on frost-coated stones, feeling the steady hum of water beneath ice resonate through your chest. The lanterns flicker gently in the breeze, casting dancing shadows across the frozen surfaces, while the moonlight stretches silver ribbons across pools and channels. Icicles hang delicately from cliff edges, brushing softly in the wind to produce faint musical tinkles that blend harmoniously with the hum of tide. The frozen landscape feels alive yet protective, holding you in stillness, reflection, and gentle calm. A final sanctuary after the long journey along cliffside trails and hidden inlets. A gentle channel winds from the ledge, carrying water beneath thin ice into smaller, secluded pools tucked between frost-laden boulders. The hum of the tide continues steadily, its vibrations a natural heartbeat for the night, merging seamlessly with the soft chime of icicles and the whisper of wind through pine branches. Each step along the channel is deliberate and unhurried, encouraging mindfulness, presence, and a slow, soothing cadence of breath and thought. Moonlight glimmers across the frozen water, lantern reflections ripple gently, and every element of this hidden sanctuary works together to deepen relaxation, calm the mind, and quiet the spirit. From the ledge, you notice the faint outlines of the cliffside path winding back, partially hidden by frost-coated boulders and pine branches. Lanterns mark the way, their amber glow blending with silver moonlight to guide each careful step, inviting a slow, mindful return or quiet pause in the sanctuary's embrace. The final inlet, its frozen pools, and the surrounding cliffs form a meditative tableau, a natural lullaby orchestrated by tide, ice, wind, and light. Every element, the hush of the night, the subtle vibrations of tide, the delicate chime of icicles, the soft flicker of lanterns, and the cool shimmer of moonlight, works together to carry the mind and body into deep, restful calm. You settle gently on a smooth stone ledge beside the final pool, letting your body rest fully and allowing your senses to absorb the quiet beauty around you. Moonlight shimmers across the ice, lanterns glow softly, and the faint hum of water beneath the ice resonates through your chest and mind. The subtle chime of icicles and whisper of wind create a layered lullaby, weaving together a perfect cadence of stillness and serenity. Every breath deepens naturally, every heartbeat slows further, and your mind drifts gently along the rhythmic flow of tide, ice, wind, and light, fully immersed in the hush of winter night. In this final moment, the frozen inlets, lantern-lit channels, frost-coated boulders, and shimmering pools become a sanctuary of perfect calm. The winter night stretches endlessly, yet safely, around you, carrying the traveler into quiet reflection, restful presence, and the gentle embrace of sleep. Moonlight glimmers across frozen surfaces, lanterns flicker softly in the breeze, and the soft, endless lullaby of tide, ice, and wind continues unbroken. And as your eyelids grow heavy, and your breath slows completely, the quiet winter sanctuary holds you fully, guiding mind and body gently into the restful, restorative calm of deep sleep. Now, dear listener, the winter night holds you gently, the hush of ice, water, and lantern light wrapping softly around your body and mind. Your breaths lengthen naturally, filling your chest with calm, then release slowly, letting all tension drift away like the snowflakes falling silently outside. Eyes grow heavy, eyelids resting gently as the steady hum of tide beneath ice continues its soft lullaby. You feel the gentle rhythm of your heartbeat, syncing with the quiet cadence of the frozen pools, the subtle chime of icicles, and the whisper of wind through frost-laden pines. Take a deep, slow breath now. Hold it for a moment, noticing the calm it brings, and release fully, letting every muscle soften and relax. Another deep breath. Fill your lungs completely, feeling the gentle expansion, and release slowly, letting peace flow down from your head to your toes. With each inhale, draw in serenity. With each exhale, let go of all worry, all restlessness, all lingering thoughts that keep you from rest. Feel the hush of the winter night surround you, the flicker of lantern light and silver moonlight soothing every part of your being. Now allow your mind to drift along the gentle rhythm of tide and ice, along the whisper of wind, letting your body sink deeper into restfulness. Notice the warmth of lantern light, the soft reflections on frozen pools, and the hush of the snow-covered cliffs carrying you toward stillness, toward calm, toward deep sleep. Breathe slowly and steadily, counting softly if it helps. Inhale, hold, exhale, let go. Inhale, exhale. With each breath, your body feels heavier, your mind quieter, and your spirit lighter, floating gently into the serene embrace of night. Feel the entire journey of the cliffside, the frozen inlets, the lantern-lit pools, and the soft moonlight fading softly into memory, leaving only peace, calm, and stillness. Every sound, every shimmer of ice and water, every gentle flicker of light blends into a final lullaby that carries you into dreams, into rest, into a deep, restorative sleep. There is nothing left to do now but breathe, relax, and surrender fully to the hush of the winter night. And as your breath becomes slow and steady, as your body rests completely, as your mind drifts gently into dreams, remember to let go fully, embrace the calm, and float peacefully into the night. Good night, dear listener. May your sleep be deep, gentle, and serene.